a lot better, right? In that last map in particular, they had that moment where they surrounded an enemy team in a building, collapsed in at the same time, and all hit it and cleaned things out. But you've got to deliver everything through this last map. It looks like we're going to get a relatively central zone, potentially pulling off towards the east. So you may be talking like Lowtown or slightly south of that, but every team from this point on, especially when we're around the cusp, again, we're talking, you know, potentially 10 teams here that are in with a shot. And they've got to get it right. This is your last chance, your last dance.
Here we go. FIFA kill. We're going to be starting again. This is the team in 15th. They did not win last map. I believe that was Picnic Basket that won the last map, but they've made it. They've qualified. We almost don't care what they're doing unless they affect one of these bubble teams. We are looking at 11th all the way down to probably 23rd or 24th, still having a chance to get top 15. And here we go as they fly in over the side of Power and Beyond. A classic start, a most wanted, or a scavenger. Either way, you can pick up some contracts and grab a ton of loot, ton of cash, and your loadout quickly. But as we pass over Power, FIFA's actually turned around, not wanting to risk taking that most wanted at the start with another team right next to them.
Yeah, I think off these drops, it's interesting because through the afternoon, you will have been assessing various spots potentially. And okay, does this work for us on rotation? But also, who you're coming up against. You want to kind of find a team that's having a bad afternoon or lower down the list. I don't think there is such thing as a weak team and a lobby as stacked as this, but you know, this trio here, they need to get off to a great start, and even if that's quiet and just get your resources together, that will work. Comms plate will come in, that's great. Some cash in pocket already. You desperately want to get to that loadout, and I find it crazy to think that we are talking about this trio potentially not making it. We will obviously be assessing everything around every team on that bubble, but as a reminder, only top 15 qualify, 47.6 points if you are Lennon here. And what was the number you said at the start? Around 9-point average?
Yeah, 9.63 was the average per game at the end of the day for 15th place. So it looks like that'll hold fairly well true. Might be a little bit closer to 9 this time around, but about 9, you need double-digit points. Average per game, we're looking at a cutoff of around 60 points, and several of these teams are about 10 points away from that. So we'll see what they're able to do this game. 10 points is what you're looking for, and that might be enough. But here's where it gets really interesting, and that's what I love about this format and what I love about this specific map. We're going to be trying to keep our eyes on which teams get eliminated, because what you need, those goalposts continue to shift if the rest of the teams on the bubble are also doing well. If Exact's team falls, if Picnic Basket teams falls, if Team Noobs falls, etc., all the teams inside the top 5, if they fall early, it just opens up the window for more variability on this leaderboard for the middle of the pack, because there's more players in the lobby, and all of the players in the lobby are all fighting for position. The teams at the top, it doesn't really matter what they do, but it still can affect what's happening in this final map.
Yeah, well, one of the things you are going to see, for example, you know, say Team FIFA Kill do come across Team Mutex, there's a 1.5 point split between them. You take down one of their players. We've seen through this afternoon, sometimes teams are happy to just kind of take one player away from a squad and then back on off. They're happy enough with that. Unlikely to happen if you come across a team you know you're directly up against. You're likely to fly at them and try and remove them from the map, or give them as much hell as you can. We're on board with Patsuka, Joewo, and T, and this is another team in the bubble conversation, currently sitting 19th, and that is about 5 and a bit points behind our team at cutoff, which is Lennon.
And this is the team that I said would probably get 15th. This is my wager. Again, Patsuka, Joewo, they got 16th last week, just barely missing the cut playing with Serve. And this time around playing with Omit T, have a chance to better that, and they only need to better it by 1 place. They got to get 15th. You hear some of the comms leaking through our yapping, and she said, I think they're on my stairwell. Here we go. Patsuka pushes the equation, and he loses his life for it. Gets 1 week, though, and able to answer back. T grabs a bit of revenge and grabs both without losing a teammate. Where's the third? It may not matter. A nice team fight, and beautifully done, just like Patsuka says.
Yeah, not sure if we're missing some information there, but I am surprised there's not a third opposing player stacked up in that stairwell as well. Perhaps just a timing situation ended up backing on off, but that whole exchange will mean that this squad have a lot of cash available, a couple of points in the bag nice and early, which will move them a little bit closer towards qualification. Again, there was 5 points in this. With those 2, they go within 3 of this squad that's currently on our screen, and Lennon is already in the gulag.
Yeah, an interesting strategy here to play the edge of zone. went for kind of their favorite drop spot and quickly have not moved out of it and getting pinched from multiple angles. Fifakil in a very tough position. He's used to playing by himself. He's used to getting nukes. He's used to getting nukes with random weapons. But when you're playing against some of the Warzone's finest, it's going to be tough to win some of those fights, especially when on the other side as well, Zeus himself, Almond, taking down Fifakil. Going to be a tough one to win. And they're going to interrogate him, and then Noobs will execute him, finish him off, go ahead and send him to the gulag as well.
Yeah, and with that interrogate, that leaves Enxian high and dry because Lennon, though he might win his gulag, he will have to come back on in, likely with very little resources. Do you want to play a game where you're trying to land on your teammate and save things? And oh my god, what a lobby this is. Fifakil up against Vision, the man that replaced the other when it comes to competitive trios, and Thief comes out on top. I mean, it will be as well a huge moment in things because not only is there so many storylines to settle there when it comes to the fact that Thief essentially replaced Vision when it comes to competitive trios, but could that be the moment that gets this team back in this lobby and gives them an opportunity to qualify? Vision would have loved to eliminate him there.
Oh, it's a great shout, too. I mean, Warzone's team is likely safe. I believe they're 8th place overall. But anytime you can win right there and kind of put salt on the wound between some EU players is always a fun talking point. Nice win there from FIFA.
Yeah, again, the storylines going into that are absolutely huge. And FIFA will come out on top, and it means everything to them. But I can't imagine what Vision would have given to have come out on top there and essentially send their team into a spiral. And pops one of the I forget the name of it, the teddy bears. I forget what they're called in this, but yeah, managing to come out with a whole bunch of resources there for your Kens. And this is a squad that we saw put on a great rotation when we had that pop-off power circle earlier on. I think it was map 4. Had a fantastic couple of plays. Herself, Rob Starr, Showstopper, did a really good job, and just continuing to progress through this afternoon. They are currently sat in 11th and look relatively safe, but you would love a couple of points just to make sure that you are clear of any conversations we get towards the end. On board with the Italians, Blade, Vortex, Moonride. This team sat in 20 of 41.5 points. They need a fantastic map here.
It's a great call out for both of those things. Moonride, one of the few and one of the finest snipers out there, always rocking a sniper no matter the format. Yes, one-shot snipers are out. Moonride does not care, following the Breadman example and continuing. And unfortunately, as we head to the gulag, OMT gets slammed. Not a close one, able to sneak around the corner. I did notice, by the way, so we've got Mutex here, 16th place overall going into this map. They are 1 place outside of qualifying. I believe only 0.5 points behind Team Lennon. This is Mutex playing with Blast, which is a fairly, traditional duo, but they've picked up Gorgo Knight, who's mostly known for his competitive prowess on Resurgence game modes, and obviously as a content creator, this trio should be doing fairly well. Unfortunately, not doing fantastic today, just barely outside of the money, but they're actually being hunted by, I believe it was Kens' team in 11th right now. They had a bounty out on Knight, which is Gorgo Knight. So curious to see what happens if they maybe end up pushing this. And here it is from their perspective. Kens, Rob, and Showstopper. They've got the bounty out. It doesn't look like they're all that close to the bounty anymore. Likely got pushed out of wherever they were when they picked it up. And both teams kind of rotating in different directions, but they at least had a bit of information. And I will shout out Kens here too, because that last map that we talked about so much, getting 10th place overall, finding a ton of eliminations, picking up that extra multiplier, that pushed them from about 18th place all the way up to 11th and mostly clear to qualify. This is a big moment for this trio.
Yeah, you think about the fine margins in which these tournaments fly, and there was a moment where we spoke about how they'd kind of rotated into the path of the Mexican squad, right? It looked like they were done and dusted. They couldn't push out left, they couldn't push out right. They were essentially between a rock and a hard place, but then do a fantastic job to win some gunfights they had no right to win, and then spiral that into a couple of more points through placement multipliers and potentially extra kills. So you do think, like, if that moment had gone a different way, they right now, so they're sitting in 11th, and yes, they could well still miss out on the cut, but they'd have to be unlucky. There'd have to be quite a few teams that jump them. They could well be right in that bubble at the minute with Don, FaZe, Kaylee, Lennon, where it's 1 point splitting them all.
Yeah, and as you've been kind of breaking that down, man, Moonride is just throwing bullets down range. I mean, sighting this sniper in, connecting on several, continuing to deplete plates, and is connecting, but again, no one-shot snipers, so just getting everybody weak, trying to set up his team. I mean, 1, 2, 3, how many different teammates has he shot? How many different players has he almost knocked? This might be 4 or 5 different players he continues to throw bullets at. Luckily, plenty of ammo to work with, but this is wild here from Moonred. It looks like Blade is nearby to try to help, but not a perfect angle to clean any of these up. This is just practice for him.
Yeah, always one of the most entertaining points of views when it comes to European Warzone. Kind of guy who is pretty much always running a sniper in hand, as you see, has no issue, one-shot sniper or not. He's got a play style, he sticks to it and entertains for sure. But right now, they need a little bit more than entertainment. If you are this Italian trio, Vortex and Blade, and you know, they parted ways essentially with Savvy Ultras, who's made their way through to the finals next week. It would be a tough moment for them to then fall short themselves. That's Robstar, by the way, picking up a kill on that Ken's team. So that's, you know, the team in 11th, cleaning up the team potentially in 20th at the minute. So, you know, a bit of a bubble fight going on there. We saw that T was brought back in, but it's all gone pear-shaped.
Oh, no. Stuo lasts alive, and nothing but a prayer and a dream. Stuo is just eking through this water and might make it to a bit of a clearing, but I cannot imagine Stuo has any chance of making it out, and that's exactly the case. Wow, what a brutal end to their tournament here, falling. A team I thought could get 15th just couldn't quite put the pieces together, and even with the redemption tour possible, tough loss there. But we'll swap over to your team, a team that you said could be 15th or so going into this lobby. Ebates is in 18th. Need a big one here, need a sizable one to make sure that they can make it into the finals, but now they're in trouble.
Yeah, Ebates, the man himself, who's going to have to put on here as Gromlock falls in the background. Enkyo's also been picked up, will pull off the self. Not sure if he is getting pushed out. Ebates feels he is, plants the claymore. Enkyo goes down again, so we'll need help if he's going to get picked back up this time. And it looks like it's Aydan, Adrian, and Cranks that are on top of them. That is a difficult team to be up against when you're in this spot, but he does it. It's Skullface, actually. There's multiple teams all around this, and it's some of the best in the world, Ebates, to pull off a huge play potentially as these two French duos sit in the gulag. This could be a huge moment for their tournament.
A crazy elimination there for Ebates, sitting on 3 here into the mid game. So far, so good in terms of setting themselves up well for in-game. They've got enough eliminations already to have a decent map. This is going to be a near impossible victory for Ebates, but just picking up one, just picking up Skullface could have been enough to help them out in terms of that leaderboard, especially if they're able to win their gulags. You saw both of his teammates into the gulag, still a chance to come back. They just got to win their ones, and well, Juju's also trying to win his. He's running out, flanked alive as well. Kaylee out of here for now. Not a ton of eliminations their way. A team that's sitting right on the edge of the bubble. 14th place right now, just barely qualifying. That if they go out 23rd, 22nd, they likely miss the mark. This is a crucial moment for that trio as we continue to swap perspectives and check out a couple of the other teams on the edge. 17th here for Mireille and co, who are in trouble.
Yeah, well, it looked like a fantastic start to the afternoon as slowly disintegrated in front of them. And you're right, when you speak about some of these teams, if you were to go out right now, you're essentially watching your afternoon entirely disappear in front of your eyes. It's a brutal way for things to end. By the way, just to give you guys an update about one of the teams on the bubble, Team T will be out. They lost their gulag, all dead. Elsewhere, when we talk about the Italian trio, Moonride was brought back in. We're continuing to just feed through updates from production that are trying to give us the whole picture, the whole story. And honestly, I agree with this play out of this Mexican trio. Rotate on out. It didn't seem like a good situation for you. Get yourself somewhere with a bit more cover and get yourself an opportunity to pull resources together, set up a defensible position. Right now, they are sat right on that bubble, so it will be fine margins when we talk about that squad.
Yeah, a very smart rotation. You're in 17th place as Team Mireille. You're at 45 some odd points. You're only a couple points behind the cutoff. You've got to stay alive. The multipliers going from a 1.3 multi to a 1.5 multi, or even a 1.1 to a 1.3 could be the difference between you making any money and making the finals and walking away with absolutely nothing. And another team in trouble and another team on the bubble. Knight and Mutex alive. Blast is out of here. Mutex has tons of cash, but has got to get to a buy station. And the problem is, you know all of these buy stations are being camped. You know there's a team nearby. The question is, can you smoke your way in? And no, Mutex might go down. Look at his health. I mean, we're talking quite literally splitting hairs. Maybe 4 HP in a dream and somehow able to go prone and stay alive. that right there might have been one of the most crucial moments in this team's entire tournament. If Mutex falls there, Knight has $0.
Yeah, this is one of the problems, right? Mutex and Knight really need to kind of get together here and try and provide cover over each other, potentially split the cash so one of them can bail out to the buy station if need be. But you're right, especially about this particular buy station they're trying to play. It is surrounded by a multitude of windows and rooftops, and you can also oversee it from the other side of the river. So if there's anyone hunkering down and trying to watch the area, it's a very difficult play to make. I honestly would try and split some of this cash if I was you, Mutex. You're pushing this. And if you fall, Knight's in big trouble. But actually, you're going to catch Gromalok, one of the players that I highlighted and wanted to see through. And that's another team on the bubble. And by the way, Mutex up to 4 kills. Just by pure math, that will lift them, as long as all scores stay the same, up to around 13th. So the kills starting to rack on up will do them some good. But it's whether or not they make this risky play.
Yeah, you can never count yourself safe in this tournament unless you're well over the point threshold of what we expect, of somewhere around 60 some odd points. If you're in the 80s or in the 90s, you're good. Everybody else, hold your collective breath. You never know what could happen. Near all of the bubble teams could be alive going into the final circle, and those fights might determine who makes it and who doesn't. It could come down to the very last fight, but Mutex, almost 13 grand in pocket, alive, stays up high, and is not going to risk going to the buy station. Can't risk going down here with the life of the tournament and a chance in the finals on the line. Here comes the enemy in the deployable. Was that a... I think they threw a fake decoy down. They threw a deployable decoy, and it might have just saved the life of the tournament. No, they do end up falling. Does anybody have a gulag?
11.
No. They have 11 kills. I was so blown away by the deployable or inflatable decoy, or whatever the heck it's called. I just lost all of words and all comprehension. But 11 kills might be enough. It's going to be very, very close.
Yeah, 11 kills might well lift them into a safe spot, but they've now just got to watch, hope, and pray, potentially click through some other streams and see what's going on, as they are very much so a squad that were hoping to break through. They were sat in 16th, 1.5 points off the cut at the start of the afternoon, and while they will not get a great placement multiplier, they will get a lot of kills on the board. Ken's actually peeks out for way too long. She will be able to use the self. Teammates should be able to tap this through. It will indeed. So keeps the self. Will only lose a couple of plates. Potentially a horrible moment. Thankfully, will be a minor cost. But yeah, Mutex will watch and see if they make it on through as a couple of squads. We know some are out, but there's still plenty still around, fighting for every piece of points that they can. It might lift them to safety. And this is another one. Mireille, Goat Clamp. And Goat Clamp is going to be on his own for this one.
Well, we've seen what he can do on his own in the past. Will he be able to do it this time around? A couple players on the radar up ahead. It looks like only 2, though. A 1v2 is possible, albeit very difficult. Spots one out. There's another team on his left, though. Doesn't want to show his position. This is a huge moment. He could third party here. He's going to elect to pick one off because that's Adrian. That's a free kill. He's going to take those. Every kill will matter. Grenades come flying through. He's got to rotate out. He's got to smoke. Unfortunately, it's too much for him to handle. Able to get one plate in. Can he answer back? No. Clamp is out. That's Crinks answering back. That is the team he was fighting. It was just one team. They were split. Crucial moment here looking at the math. Mutex's team is likely the bubble team now. 11 points puts them at about 57 and a little bit of change points on our leaderboard. That was our cutoff last week. Mutex's team, 57 some odd points, is the team to beat. They were in 16th. They're likely into 15th. The question is, who is still alive? Ebates out of here. Moonride out of here. FaZe Kaylee in 14th place over on the leaderboard going into this map. Out of here. This is going to be close, but the teams I just named are likely not going to make it. The only one that was close because of eliminations is Mutex's squad, and we're into the final 10.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfectly rounded up there. We are seeing a couple of these teams drop on off again. Nothing confirmed until we see that final leaderboard, but that is likely the situation unfolding in front of us right now. And here's another team right on the cusp of things, and actually they likely need a couple more kills in order to just make this safe. It looks like this will split, and Lennon, Exian, and FIFA kill. They need to have a good passage of play here. It will be a careful rotation. Sorry, not anything but a careful rotation. They try and push through the smokes, and they are eliminated with 7 kills, but they do get 9th, so will that lift them high enough? It should do. They came in 15th, 47.6 points. That will lift them to the upper end of the 50s, and we think that that will be just about enough to pull you through.
That's a 10.5 point game for the team in 15th. We talked about the cutoff. It's going to be It looks like, I think, 58 points. That means Mutex might be out of the equation, or maybe FIFA Kill Squad done enough to take 14th. Only time will tell. Kins holding on for dear life, just trying to eke out into 5th place. He's just going to hang out in the gas and pray for somebody to go down, and I don't think it's going to happen. Kins' team will get 6th. It will be enough. That's likely her falling to make it top 5. 1.7x multiplier as we take a look here at Duffy's team. This is QLC. Aydan's still in it inside the top 5, and the zone is moving. They should pick up several teams in rotation because Aydan's getting here early. Durable gas mask in hand. A flawless execution. The problem is he's going to be all by himself.
Yeah, and Aydan just playing spoiler essentially to all these teams that are trying to qualify on through. This is another team, by the way, up near the top end of things. Collars, they were sat in 6th coming into this with 75 points. They will pick up a kill, but who are they up against last? They will be Oak Boy from the Picnic duo, and will it just be up against Aydan then? This potentially 2 big teams fighting it out for our final map.
This is such a huge win, and finally we get a chance to see Attract and Colors team on main stage. They've been having a fantastic day today, a super consistent day today. They find Aydan. Will they find another? Goes absolutely massive, and a win to showcase to the world that this team can do it all. You've got Attract, you got Empathy, and you've got Colors. A team of trios, a team of thirds, a team that has split, and they've played together in the past some, but never come together as a full team. You saw Colors playing with Swagg. You saw Attract playing with Flanked. You've seen people all over the place. Empathy playing with Braxton. They've decided to make a trio for Urzikstan, and it's paying off. A 20-point victory definitely secures a spot into the finals and continues to secure their place. It is time. Who has qualified? Who has not? Let's take a look at it. The team in 15th just barely making it. FaZe, Kaylee, 53.9 points. Walk me through this leaderboard.
I mean, I'm looking straight at my man Ebates and I'm devastated, right? I think I cast a cursed him a bit early. He will unfortunately just falls short. Don Lucky just falling short as well. A squad that at one point looked like they are having a really good afternoon. And it will be FaZe Kaylee, Lennon, Mutex doing enough to get himself through, even despite lack of multiplier placement. He went full on with his team and picked up 11 kills there at the end. Believe, Ken's Rosie all making it on through. It's commiserations to a couple more squads that we saw right in the thick of it towards the end. Moonride, for example, we saw them putting up some numbers. Mirai TV, that felt like a squad that was so high up at one point through this afternoon. They will fall just short. And Smixy as well, another squad that at one point was well comfortably inside our top 10, ending up in 20th. It is extremely tight. I mean, what's that? Between 15th and 22nd, you're talking 4 points. Unbelievably tight for qualification, but it doesn't matter if you're just out. You are not seeing that final next week, top 15. You'll all be joining us for the big one.
Oh, man, so many storylines. We're not going to hold you hostage here. Just you take a look at the leaderboard. You just screenshot it, take it home with you. What a fun tournament.